Scotland. So the Rogue Invitational, is it going to be an invitational this year? Is it correct to call it
Yes.
an invitational?
Yep.
And you're moving to Scotland. That seems like biting off. Like I got stressed out for you.
Yeah, well, last
It's
year was
on it.
very
You're doing.
stressful being
Go ahead.
outside and in the rain and the elements. I think well, we knew, we had been in Austin for 3 years. We knew it was going to move. We didn't know if it'd move within the city, within the state, or, wherever. And then when the games announced they were coming to Fort Worth, we thought, okay, this is a good time to move so that we don't have two kind of back-to-back events in the same area. And we've wanted to go, somewhere overseas, and just thought it was the right timing. So we're going to be there for a couple years, and we're really excited. I'm really excited. The venue's great. It's got it's an expo hall. It opened in 19.
So it's new. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, but it has an arena, so it's not just like this expo hall you go into. So you go in, it kind of looks like that, and then as you turn right, you enter into a 10,000 seat arena, which is really cool.
In the round, like an amphitheater.
Yeah, it's got a horseshoe, and then you can add seating behind it. It just depends on how we're going to set up the floor. I don't think we'll get to 10,000 seats because I think we want to utilize the floor to be able to have some of our items in there for both CrossFit and Strongman for the event. But it was tough coming off last year. I mean, being out in the rain, like ideally we'd like to be outside for the event, but that's just after going through what we went through and the athletes and all the spectators last year, we knew we did not want to do that. So the majority of the event is going to be indoors, just so that we know that we can put on a good show and not have to worry about that.
It's funny. I didn't remember the rain until you said it. Eaton Beaver. Good morning, Caity. I'm rocking the Rogue Crocs.
Awesome.
When you saw Wadapalooza, I know Misery Likes Company. When you saw them have to deal with the rain, were you excited? Were you like,
no, not at all. Like it was so bad. Like I felt for them because like it's still like you said, you don't remember the rain. Like
you got scarred
over the rain. Like there was a while where I didn't even want to talk about the Invitational because it was just so stressful.
Tell me one of the moments where it was just like, holy shit, I can't believe this is happening. And do you see the cloud from far away? Because I know it's different than California. In California, it's like the whole cloud is covered. But in Texas, is it like, oh shit, you see?
Well, yeah, and that's the weird thing in Texas is there was a couple of systems that went through and just separated us. So it was raining like 2 miles away, and then it just didn't come to us. But Danny Rogers and I spent so much time looking at radars that like now I don't even believe a radar because it would rain when it wasn't supposed to rain, and then it would not rain when we thought we were going to get hit. But Sunday morning was tough because it was, I think, we tested a workout in the morning at like 6:45 because we knew that there was going to be weather, and it was like 70 degrees, and then this front came in, and by 10 a.m. it was 40 and it was raining, and at that point it was raining so much that I was just like, what are we going to do? We knew we were probably going to move the event up into the concourse, but that was just, that was kind of like, that took the cake outside of the first day when there was hip height water in the dugouts where we were supposed to do all our scoring and broadcast. That was the first day. On Thursday, you couldn't even see the field in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah. So that kind of started the stress.
So just a low level panic the whole time.
Mm-hmm. It's the hardest. It's the most stressful thing. One of the most stressful things I've done. And then obviously the team, the athletes, everybody felt it. There wasn't, someone that didn't feel it that was on site for sure.
Ernie Garza, along with Jake and Jan, anyway, we can help volunteer for Scotland. Oh, I like this. Offering things to Caity. This is better. Or apply to be part of the team. Keep killing it. Hope to grow a pair and introduce myself next time I see y'all. Oh, that's awesome. Is there a place on the Rogue website for where people can sign up to be volunteers?
We're gonna have that up hopefully in the next month. We'll have that up for signups.
Okay. And you guys take a lot of volunteers?
Don't hesitate, Ernie. You can come introduce yourself anytime.
No, she's scary. Don't, Ernie. Good.
No, don't listen to Sevan. He's scared of me. You don't have to
be. Use your best judgment, Ernie. She's scary. Do you guys take a lot of volunteers?
We'll see what we're going to do this year. I think last year we had over 200. Yeah. Like all the help that we couldn't, as cliche as it is to say, we could not run the event without the volunteers. They are what makes that event go. And they do a kick-ass job and have been great. We have people that have been there all 5 years. And I think that's really cool that they keep coming back because it's a lot of work.
And you said you're going to do Scotland multiple years.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean at least 2?
At least 2.
And that makes me feel a little less stressed out, because then at least you can leverage the first year, the second year.
And that's, we could do it a different city every year, but just for the team and the operation of it, I really like to be in a venue multiple years, just because the first year you're still figuring it out, and the second year it can be better. And then year 3, like at Dell Diamond, even with the weather. And I think that's what helped us last year with the weather, is it was year 3. So we knew everything that venue could do, and we knew where we could go and pivot if we needed to. And obviously with a new venue, you're not going to have that familiarity. So we'd like to be there at least 2 years, and maybe stay over there. After that, I don't know. I would like to bring it back here as well.
What's the city in Scotland?
Aberdeen.
And can you tell me the origin story of that, in no details too much, like why you decided to leave, how you chose Scotland?
I think knowing that we weren't going to be in Austin, we started to look at a couple cities here in the U.S. We actually looked at bringing it back here to Columbus and tying it into the first year here. But how we have evolved here at Rogue, we couldn't have it indoors. We couldn't have it in our warehouse anymore. There's too much stuff in here now. And then we just really started about taking it to Europe. And I was actually going on a trip there in December. So I decided to look at a few venues in London or around London. And then I knew I was going up to visit Rob Lawson, who runs CrossFit Aberdeen up in Aberdeen, and knew about the P&J and said, hey, why don't we just run through there?
Probably what's the P&J? What's that?
That's the venue,
okay.
P&J Live.
How did you know about it?
Rob had mentioned it just as we had started. There was a place in Glasgow, there was a place in Leeds, and then a few in London that we looked at. But within 5 minutes of being in this spot, I was like, this is it. I want to come here. So we knew if we could make the contract work and make it work out, then we were going to go there. So it was pretty quick. So I was there early December. And then we got the deal done a couple weeks ago.
And it looks beautiful and clean. It looks very,
they really take care of it. And it's in a good area. We did a documentary a few years ago called Stoneland. So there's a rich history of stone lifting in Scotland. So tying it into the strongman community and the Highland Games, it's about an hour from Braemar. They have a huge Highland Games there every summer in August. So just tying all of that together, we really like that storyline. We think it's going to be fun. In November in Scotland, it's probably going to be chilly and it's probably going to rain at some point. But it's beautiful there. You can see from some of the shots in the video, that's all within kind of like a 20-minute radius of downtown Aberdeen.
And I get stressed out thinking of the logistics. When do you start moving what is the Rogue show there?
So we've already started. I actually started. Yeah, like we knew we wanted to go there, like I said, in December. So I'd already started that with some of the internal team of what it's going to take. We obviously will have to ship the gear earlier than just putting stuff on trailers that take 2 days to get to Texas. So just thinking ahead of when we need to have workouts complete, when we need to have the equipment complete, and then what it's going to take to pull off the broadcast as well. So we're already starting on that. I don't want to be behind. I'd like to have all that kind of shored up by early summer so that we just kind of go into the fall with a perfect plan, or a plan, not perfect because it's not going to be perfect.
Is it like that? You load a bunch of stuff up in containers, you put it on a boat, it goes over the sea, it gets there, and then someone pulls it out and with a sheet of paper and takes inventory and been like,
Absolutely.
Oh shit, one of the containers didn't show. And
yeah, I mean, that's probably one of the most stressful parts. Even with let's say with semi-trailers here, that's one of the most stressful parts of running an event for us is, did the equipment make it? We've had trucks when we were supporting some of the CrossFit stuff, get like stolen or rerouted. We had stuff taken off some of our trailers. We've had drivers go like they won't communicate for 12 to 16 hours, which gives, I don't need any more gray hair, but that's definitely one of the most stressful parts of it outside of just running the event.
You've had stuff stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had a truck crash?
No.
Okay. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Poor Caity. Caity, this show is wild. Braylon Tenner, fitness competitor. Good morning, Braylon. Caity, will you waive my... I didn't put anyone up to any of these. Will you waive my entry fee in exchange for exposure from my presence? Otherwise, my agent will charge you $100 an hour. Thank you. I can't wait to win.
I'd have to see your resume, and then maybe we'll just charge you the $100 an hour. Charge you, Braylon.
Send it over, Braylon. Caity at Rogue. All right, this group. So it'll all get there. You'll set it up, and then there'll be a pretty significant presence. Then then when the show's over, you pack all that stuff up, you put it in a warehouse, and it's ready for next year.
Yeah.
And I guess if you're over there with all that stuff anyway, I guess that there's a chance. I guess it gets your brain thinking also that, well, we already got the equipment over the pond. Maybe now we take it to mainland Europe or something. It opens up maybe like it's one step closer to something over there.
Well, we already have a European operation. So we're based out of Finland, the company is, and then our distribution center is in Antwerp. So there may be a chance that we take some of that stuff to the warehouse in Antwerp, but most likely the majority of it will come back here.
Same. The invitational process will be pretty much the same. Is that the plan? That's the way that event looks.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. You know, I know there was a lot of talk of who gets invited, how they get invited. And, you know, Bill and I and the team have talked a lot about, you know, what that system looks like. And can we come up with a more transparent either qualification or a way to show, you know, what we're looking at along the way, like what events they're doing. Is it a point system? Is it a qualification system? What does that look like? So people have more transparency into what we look like, because everyone thinks it's just based off the games. And that is true to an extent, but that's not the only way that you get into it. So, you know, maybe we have something like
it's not just the top. This is what I always thought it was. In general, top 15 from the men and women are invited from the games, and then there's a online competition for the remaining 5 spots.
And it works out a little bit like that. But if you look at that, the top 15, if I went to like a Wadapalooza or another event and watched that, it's probably going to be the top 5 to 10 at least, right, that are the same. So it's kind of them building their resume, right? And then you obviously have people that if they decline, then we kind of go to the next one. And then, you know, maybe it's to the point where we don't want to invite anyone more, and we take the queue and we value that. So maybe we were set on having 5 people. Maybe we take 7 people from the queue, because the queue's gotten pretty competitive over the years as well, just with the people that either, you know, maybe they had to sit out the games or they were injured. So this is, you know, if you look at like Ricky Garrard or Travis Mayer, they had to use the queue to actually get in because they didn't compete at the games.
Oh, okay. And I like the online qualifier because 1 year it gives us a chance to see people whose names we maybe didn't recognize who are really good. I think it was either last year or the year before Jorge Fernandez went.
Yep.
And that was really cool seeing him there. And every year there's like 1 or 2 people you're like, wow, they're going to get in the mix with these people.
Yeah.
And didn't Kerstetter do her first professional or adult was there? Yeah, that was wild too.
Yeah, and this year I think Victor Hoffer made it in from the queue and ended up winning one of the events, and you know, was a nice little competition for him. But if we didn't have that qualification system, then it would really just be, you know, the 20 or so athletes you just saw in August. And I like to mix it up a bit. I think it's really good for the sport to have others in and not just the same ones. Yes, it is an invitational and we want the top people to be there, but we also want to give those up and comers a chance to be in as well.
So we know the location. We generally know how people get in there, that it will be an invitational. It will be the best people with some spots for some other people to find their way in. Or is there any other stuff that you know already? Oh, do we know the dates?
November 8th through the 10th.
November 8th through 10th. And how about you personally? Do you know any of the workouts already?
I know some elements that we would like to do of the workouts, but I don't have those. We'll probably, you know, Josh, Chris, and I will start talking about that hopefully next month. We'll get the queue done first and then start building toward the invitational in November. I would like to have that done, you know, by the summer. So again, we make sure we have all the equipment that we need. But I don't like to change up workouts very close to the event. I know we had to last year because of the weather. That's obviously not ideal either.